Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all having a great night. It's me, the Prince of FNAF, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, and hit the like button, of course, if you like what you see here. And with that being said, today we're talking about one of FNAF's most awesome, fearsome villains, and that is, of course, David Miller. Or, if you want to be more scary, Springtrap. So with that being said, we are going to talk about each of the incarnations so far up to right now, 2020, because it looks like this year we are getting a brand new villain. No longer are we getting the creepy yet somehow likable villain of Springtrap, aka David Miller. We are getting our brand new villain in the form of Vanny. So with that being said, let's go across the several years that Springtrap has been scaring the socks off of children and FNAF fans everywhere. So with that being said, let's go to the intro and get right into it. So I suppose we should begin at the very beginning, of course, starting with Five Nights at Freddy's and Five Nights at Freddy's The Silver Eyes. I'm looking at both of these medias to come up with the storyline of our very human and very terrifying antagonist of the original game. Now, obviously, in the original game, William Afton is no longer human, but we'll get to that very shortly. So before the events of the first game and the first book, William Afton was already being controlled by an entity known as Ennard. Ennard being this really gross mass of flesh and endoskeleton pieces was controlling our friend William. Of course, that is why he changed his name to David Miller. So before he became possessed by the Ennard endoskeleton, he was but a businessman, a very shady businessman, I may add, and he was quite possibly even a serial killer. There's lots of stuff pointing to this in the books, in the games, everything. He would use his businesses of animatronic characters, pizza party places, to lure kids in, and then when they were safe and secure, he would let their guard down and he would kill them. We even see this take place in the newer books, where we see one of our main characters, Oswald, witness Springtrap's handiwork. Or back then, before it was withered, we see him witness Spring Bonnie's handiwork. And it was really quite disturbing. A lot of the things that William Afton did in his life was pretty disturbing. He also was a businessman. He was a producer of animatronics, and probably he produced the first 4 animatronics that we see in Five Nights at Freddy's, and he even produced the Golden Freddy and or Fredbear and Spring Bonnie costumes. Spring Bonnie being his preferred costume of murder. Now, after he got possessed by the circus baby endoskeleton Ennard, he then proceeded to get a job at Freddy Fazbear's. And then that is where the animatronics had proceeded to kill him. Now we do see William Afton, or what he is called in the game as Phone Guy, we see him get killed, or we don't really see him, but we hear him get killed during the last phone night in Night 5, where he sends a voicemail to us, and at the end of the voicemail we hear the animatronics enter his room, wherever he's stationed at, and end his life. And the following night we hear Golden Freddy's possessed murmuring on the phone. Now, going all the way to FNAF 3 is when we see him again, and this is where fans realized who Springtrap was. Springtrap was the remains of William Afton, or when he was called, when he got killed, Ennard changed the name to David Miller, but let me assure you that Ennard, David Miller, and William Afton are but the same. And so, when we see him in the form of Springtrap in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, William Afton awakens He is confused. He doesn't know where he is. The endoskeleton has been removed from him, so at this point, he doesn't know what's happened, because during the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 1, it was Ennard. Now, sometime between the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 1 and Sister Location and Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Ennard was regurgitated from William Afton. And when William Afton awakens inside a Springtrap, dead and decomposing, only being brought back by Remnant and being the puppet of the cursed pizzeria once again, he has become one of the victims of what he has done his entire life, becoming Springtrap. Now, Springtrap is confused, and he will do anything that he can to escape and his suffering. Although he never does escape, because your job as a night guard is to keep him locked in, he does eventually find a way to burn the pizzeria to the ground. This does not kill Springtrap, however, it just messes him up even more. He is brought on the curse to the younger children that he turned into the robots, and in turn, he is now one of them. And William Afton even says something very, very intriguing in The Silver Eyes, where he does say, "Because I am one of them." At that time in the lore, he is of course Ennard. Now, moving all the way to Five Nights at Freddy's 4, we see Plushtrap. Now, it is not known if Plushtrap has any connection to Springtrap. I mean, he does look like Springtrap, but for all we know, he could just be a withered plush of Spring Bonnie, because let us remember, Spring Bonnie is Springtrap, just withered. And then we finally see Springtrap once again. He is salvaged in Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzeria Simulator. You can choose to salvage Scrap Trap from the back alley and bring him into the pizzeria and use him for parts. Now, this is pretty cool, and he's also seen in the end of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. He is seen in the end, you know, burning along with the pizzeria. We then see him again in Ultimate Custom Night, and then finally in Five Nights at Freddy's AR and Five Nights at Freddy's VR, we see him in VR in the form of Glitch Trap. Glitch Trap is a computer-based entity stuck inside of a VR game. In the game lore, FNAF VR is an actual game in the game lore of the game. So it's a real game inside of the Five Nights at Freddy's world, and you are a game tester. And now, one of the files that you can stumble across in the game is the Glitch Trap file, and then at the end of the game, Glitch Trap will then proceed to lead you into a room where you become trapped. Now, in Five Nights at Freddy's AR, Springtrap is one of the villains that you can have go up against you, but there's not really any story-based elements to FNAF AR. He does make an appearance in this game, but we're not going to talk about that. And finally, the last appearance of Springtrap, our boy, is in Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzaplex. Now, I don't think he's going to have a huge role to play in Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzaplex. Cannot talk tonight. But he will make an appearance because we have Vanny, which is a reluctant follower. We do hear Vanny's voice in Five Nights at Freddy's VR conversing with Glitch Trap, and they do chat with each other. So Vanny is going to be one of, I guess, a cult character in the new Five Nights at Freddy's game. But there and behold, I don't think they're going to remove Springtrap from the picture entirely, but we're probably going to just be focusing on our new villain, which is Vanny. So I hope you guys enjoyed this entire breakdown of the Springtrap lore, and with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Do take care, and have a great night.